Do you want to help more people and actually make more money and boost your sales? Well, definitely watch this video because I am revealing to you why it is so important to have an effective follow-up process after the sales conversation. Did you know that probably over 80% of your sales calls require at least 5 follow-ups after the initial sales conversation? Yet most salespeople give up after 1 attempt. And I hear this all the time. Oh, but they never picked up their phone. I'll just wait for them to return my phone call. And generally, that does not work because you're now chasing them. And as a lot of sales trainers that I've seen online, they talk about the status thing. And that's true. If you're constantly chasing after them, then you're always going to be a lower status of them. So you definitely want to be at the same level. And with these techniques I'm going to go through today with you, you will sure to have much better follow-up. Hey, it's Tom Jacobs here. I love giving these sales tips to solopreneurs, solo practitioners, heart-centered salespeople who generally don't like to sell, but realize that you need to in order to grow your business and ultimately help more people. And in today's video, we're talking about the follow-up after the sale. I talk a lot in my previous videos about follow-up to get people to the appointment itself, which is critical because you can't make a sale if you don't talk to anybody. But also after the sale, if you don't do the initial sale, imagine this, you have a 50% close rate. Most people that I talk to have less than that before I start working with them. But let's just say you have a 50% close rate and half the people that you talk to, you need to follow up with after the initial sales call. Well, it's going to take at least 5 attempts to get them back on the phone and have that conversation again. But most salespeople are giving up after that very first attempt. And it's a shame because you're leaving a ton of money on the table. So let's dive into some of these real tips and tricks that you can do in your own practice to get better at follow-up. The biggest problem with follow-up is that fear of rejection. It just seems like you're wasting time calling people, sending text messages, sending emails, trying to get them to get back on your calendar to have a further follow-up to the initial sales conversation. And generally, it sounds like this: hey, Bob, I'm just following up with you to see if you'd made a decision yet. You know what? If you got that email, wouldn't you just hit delete? Not really made a decision, not really top of mind right now. But when you create some urgency and some curiosity, you're going to get a much higher response rate. So let's go through some tactics to get better responses on your follow-up. Now, if you've gone through my sales training and had that what, why process instilled in your first conversation with the prospect, then you have tons of information that you can now personalize your approach to the follow-up. And so that first email might be, hey, Bob, I was thinking about you because of the problem of XYZ that you have and the inability for you to get to whatever their goal is. I came across this resource and thought it might be applicable to your situation. And then you give them that resource that you ultimately that you would have created. So again, that's creating a lot more value in that prospect, and you're more likely to get somebody to go, oh, wow, thank you for that. And it also proves that you know what you're talking about. So in that first email, make sure you're adding value based on the exact problem that that prospect had. So you're personalizing that approach. They feel special, they feel heard, and they're more likely to respond to you. The second tip, and I've seen this all over the internet, and this is something that, really steal from other people, is rather than using those words follow up, that you're using words that are getting them to think about what the problem was and ultimately solving that problem. Like, hey, Bob, you've expressed interest in solving this problem. How have you gotten on so far? Or have you been able to solve it yet? So again, it's asking that question like, okay, yeah, I haven't solved it yet. And now you just keep it really simple. Now they're going to be like, yeah, I haven't solved it yet. It's top of mind now. Now I need to follow up with Tom and see about getting his program, right? So that taking that word follow up out, but rather creating some interest in intrigue and asking that other question to get them to think, did I solve this? Did I not solve it? And if they didn't, then you're top of mind. The third tactic that I want to share with you is to embed testimonials of people just like them that have gotten results from using your program. Social proof is one of the biggest things that you can use to show that your program actually works because it's in the words of previous clients of yours. So make sure that you are using testimonials in the follow-up process. So it might sound something like this. Hey, Bob, this is Joe. He's somebody that had a very similar situation as yours, and I thought I'd share his story with you. This is what he did. This is what he was able to accomplish. Check out the video below. Boom, done. And just keep it nice and short and sweet. And that when that person watches the video, if you have that technology on your videos, like if you do Loom videos or things like that, it can notify you when somebody actually watches the video. And then you can do a phone call or another email follow-up to get them while they're like in that mood, right? And you can get them right when they're in that mode of checking out your stuff in your testimonial. The fourth tip I want to share with you is make sure that you are consistent and persistent with your follow-up. What does that mean? It means that you are setting aside time on your calendar to do your follow-ups. So it should be maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day, depends on how many consultations that you do and how much follow-up you need to, and how many people you need to follow up with. If you have that time scheduled on your calendar for follow-up, 30 minutes each day at different times during the day, you're going to be a lot more consistent in that follow-up. You quickly get through the 30 minutes of follow-up and boom, you're on to your next task for the day. It's that consistency and that persistency that will keep your business growing at a much higher rate than if you weren't doing follow-up at all. There you go. Those are 4 practical things that you should be doing to increase your follow-up and increase your sales once you've had that initial conversation with your prospect. Remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. So if you're only following up once, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. And you definitely want to make sure that you're following up at least 5 times after the initial sales conversation. You want to be personalized in that approach. You want to share some testimonials, and you want to have a little challenge question like, where do we go from here? And with a set process like that in place, you just rinse and repeat each time. You have the process, so just doing it on a consistent and persistent basis will make sure that you are increasing your sales. So thanks again for watching this video, and I can't wait to share more nuggets with you in the next video. So go ahead and just hit that subscribe button, and that way you get notified every time new videos go live. So until next time, you have a great day.